welcome everybody. I was just notified that these meetings are now recorded and on video. So I'll ask board members, we typically don't like microphones, but so if you do speak, please speak into the microphone and also introduce yourself of who you are. So I'll start. I'm the chairperson and I am Chad Payne of the Beautification Parks and Recreation Committee. So we'll officially start the meeting for today.
Chad Payne.
Here.
Sherry Langford.
Here.
Carrie Keck.
Here.
Vicki Winters.
Here.
Sue Nelson.
Here.
Raymond Potomski.
Here.
And I'm Jane Wright. I'm the Parks and Recreation Administrative Assistant.
Great. Very good. Thank you. And for any of those of you that are in attendance, there is an agenda on the back there. And when we get to the section for citizen participation, if you would like to participate, we ask that you sign the sheet in the back with your name and contact information before you talk. Okay? So just give you a heads up when that time comes, if you could help out with that. We would appreciate it. All right, moving forward on the agenda, the first part is to consider the approval of last month's minutes. So if I can hear, after you have looked over them, and take a motion for approval on those.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes from our December 19th meeting.
Great.
I second.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion needed? Okay, all right.
Chad Payne.
Yes.
Sherry Langford.
Yes.
Carrie Keck.
Yes.
Vicki Winters.
Yes.
Sue Nelson.
Yes.
Raymond Potomski.
Yes.
All right, thank you. The minutes have been approved. All right, next on the agenda item for today is staff reports. So our staff, would you like to update us on any reports?
Okay, my name is Sue Ellen Frericks, and I'm the Aquatics and Activities Supervisor with the Recreation Department. And so this past month, December 19th, when you had your last meeting, we also hosted Carols and Cocoa in Woodland Park. It was a great evening. The weather was perfect. We had 4 performers that performed Christmas selections and had a great crowd, and everyone loved the free cocoa. So we thought that was a big win for us. As far as Splash, this is our gearing up season. So we will spend February, or I will spend February going out to the various schools and recruiting students to work for Splash. We will have our hiring day on March 15th, and that is a one-stop hiring day event. So that means that they can fill out their application, they can do their interview, they can do all of their onboarding there at that event. It will be held at the Recreation Center, which is a new location this month, or this year. So we're looking forward to that. And the last thing is that we are looking for sponsorships to advertise in the Neptune Radio or with Neptune Radio. So that is a service that we purchase, and it vets all of our music to make sure that the music that we have at Splash is family friendly. And we also put all of our announcements, our safety announcements on there, and then we ask for advertising. So we're looking for sponsors for that. And also, we have opened up our rentals to people who have previously rented, specifically organizations, so that we can get them on the calendar before it opens up to the public. So I'm talking about the big private rentals. So like school organizations or churches that have rented in the past, we give them first dibs on this year's calendar. So, all right, thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Amy Riggins, and I'm the Special Event and Volunteer Supervisor for the department. And we are excited that we have a new part-time recreation aide that started this past Monday. So that gives us a full slate of our rec aides. We have 5 part-time rec aides. They help us with programming and all kinds of operations, both in the recreation center, the community center, as well as the parks. We also, this semester, we have an OBU student practicum that is helping us. And I say that if you know of other students who might be interested in doing either an internship or a practicum, please have them contact us. Or if you know of any high school students that want to do maybe some type of volunteer hours, we are always welcome to help accommodate those needs and help them get the hours that they need to earn. You might have been aware of some snow that was very beautiful that we had last week. And we did have a snow day, what we call snow day closure. And just so that you're aware, anytime we close the recreation center, we do post that on the news. So just like school and business closings, you may have actually seen that. But that information is available to the public if we do have to do a closure like we did last week.
Just curious, is that the only place that it is posted, or do you?
It's actually a website that posts it to all the different news stations, and then we also put it on our Facebook page as well.
Great, thank you.
Any questions about any of our staff updates? With that, I'll finish.
Thank you, that's exciting. It's hard to believe we're talking about the splash opening up already.
No, I'm ready.
Yeah, it's awesome. Love it. All right, our next agenda item is discussion of artwork project that came up last meeting, and some ideas were discussed on what that might look like, and contacting potential either people or organizations to help assist with that. I believe there might be some more questions that, as we were thinking through asking for help, I probably want some more clarification. So did you have some more thought on that? No?
Me?
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. So I actually had thinking about it, because Butch and I both mentioned that we would be willing to go to some of the travel entities to ask them for, to ask them for assistance. Thank you for reminding me, Amy. And as I was thinking through that, I was thinking, you know, we probably should actually have some other city entities involved. Primarily, there is a artwork committee. Art and Culture Commission. Thank you for the city of Shawnee. And I thought we should probably try and include them in this, because it's, I mean, although that falls under the park maintenance, for maintenance purposes, and that's, so the location right now is the Harrison, it's on Harrison and I-40 basically. And so anyway, I thought it might be a good idea to try and include them in the conversation, and also just try to find out if there were rules regarding that as far as the city of Shawnee is concerned, if there's liability that would be incurred, and how that would work for somebody or tribe that's trying to donate the artwork.
And we
Yeah.
also talked about Bell Street.
Yeah, and we talked about Bell Street. Thank you, Sherry, for mentioning that. And then, like, would it be a contest, you know, and things like that. So those are just the questions I had before, and I felt like it needed to be answered before I went to myself or Butch or whoever went to a tribal community and say, hey, we want you to do this, but we don't really know the specifications or what we're really asking you for. So, and then with all of those questions answered, it would be great to be able to have a memorandum or something from the Parks Board or whoever that kind of lays out those stipulations and request that support. So it's more official. I think that it might be a good idea to try and make it more official than just, you know, us going to talk to somebody. I don't know. That's just my thought.
Yeah, those are great thoughts. Thank you for bringing those up. So I guess our question would be, is that something that the Parks and Recreation Department would reach out to?
So we actually referred Carrie Keck to Ryan Harkins.
Okay.
Ryan is the staff liaison. He's the community development director at the
Great.
city, and he's the liaison for the Art and Culture Commission. I believe that you communicated with him, and he has a couple of people from that board who are interested in working with you on this project.
Okay.
So in my mind, I think it could be a joint project, and Ryan would be a great resource for you as far as more of the city codes and those types of things. And then if you chose, if the board chose, or the task force or whatever chose to include other entities, then they could certainly do that. So,
That's great. Do we need to create a separate task force to be able to work outside these regular meetings then?
As long as you don't have more than 3 from one board meeting at the same time, you
Okay.
could have 2 or 3 from this commission and 2 or 3 from the other commission.
Okay.
As far as if it's an official ad hoc committee, that might be a Ryan question.
Yeah, okay. So are you willing to move forward with the communication? And so, it sounds like you've already done some really good work on that already.
Well, not really good work, no, I just asked some questions.
It's good, no, that's good work. Questions are
And,
good.
And yes, I'm willing to continue with that if anybody else would also, one other person, I guess, would also like to join in on that conversation, then I would welcome that, especially anybody, anyway. I would welcome that.
Sure. I
That
will.
last
Okay.
meeting,
Yeah, I will.
Okay,
that last meeting, it might have been you that mentioned maybe trying to get a hold of the tribes and seeing if a tribe, the different tribes would be able to do the artwork. Rocky said that he can talk to some of his artists with no problem. Same thing with Sac and Fox and also Absentee. So if we want to do it that way, we can.
okay. So it sounds like there's 2 really good options. Sounds like if both of you can, since you're willing to do that, just give us an update next time with those conversations that you have and
No, it's not another committee, no, it's just the next meeting. But Butch, you said Sac and Fox,
Sac and Fox
CPN, and
and Absentee Shawnee.
it's great.
have already said that they are willing to, okay, thank you.
We had mentioned OBU, and I was gonna talk to them, the art department. My suggestion would be, we have some really good leads with the tribes. Let's hold off on OBU, asking them, because I feel like there's some good momentum there at this point. Is that okay? Okay. Any other discussion or questions that we need to, so if we can put this on the agenda item for next month, just as an update of where we're at and how to partner and how to move forward, what that looks like. We'll do that. Okay, thank y'all so much. It's exciting. That's great. Any other discussion for the project?
I think with Ryan, or what, no, sorry, Planning Commission, Department Head, he will know how big an artwork could be, whatever ODOT's requirements are. So,
Yeah, and we have clarification on the north, south, east, west dimensions. The median that we're talking about is, if you've seen it recently, it
Yeah.
starts at the curb and it angles in. So from the top of that concrete wall up is the imaginary north, south, east, west. So it can't extend over any of that. As far as height, you'd need to ask Ryan about
Yeah.
that. And then just to clarify, this is a board project. There's no city funds that are set aside for this. Tax dollar money will not be used for this project, so there would have to be some type of external fundraising or donations from the tribe or another organization.
Thank you for that clarification. That's good. All right, the next on the agenda, item number 4 is citizen participation. Are there any citizens that would like to participate in comments? You're more than welcome. Just as a friendly reminder, there is a 3-minute limit per person and 12 minutes overall for the citizen participation. So, thank you. Sure, yes, please. Yes, please.
My name's Rick Cox. Just a little background on me and my family. I'm 71. My family moved here right after the turn of the century and with horses and wagons. We've been here that long. And anyway, my talk is on lake number 2, which didn't even exist when I was born. But the kayakers. I've been accosted by kayakers out there. One lady paddled up and cut my fishing line. and told me you weren't allowed to fish in lake number 2, which I tried to tell her there's a sign right there where you come down to the dock with the fee for that, which I don't have to pay, but she didn't want to hear it. And I think it needs to be addressed before somebody tries to sue the city over something like that or something. And I've told a few people like that, about things like that when I was out there, and they immediately went and took care of their own situation, I mean, without causing any problems. But that's about my deal. I don't want to see the city get sued over some goofy little thing.
Thank you for your comments, and just to make sure, can I understand, have you reported that to the Parks and Recreation
No.
Department or the Police Department
No.
or anybody
No,
else?
I told her to take off and leave me alone, and I tied everything back on and kept fishing, and she finally got tired and paddled off,
Okay,
so.
thank you for bringing that to our attention, appreciate it.
Hi, my name is Wolf Googler. I've got some pictures I just want to provide. And I'm a Shawnee Twin Lakes leaseholder, have been since 2005.
And could you repeat all that you said? What was your last name, Wolf?
Last name's Googler, G-U-G-L-E-R.
Thank you.
Eugene
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm a Shawnee Twin Lakes leaseholder, have been since 2005. I've spent the last 20 years volunteering in emergency management as well, Shawnee and Pot County and McLeod. I've known Mr. Letomsky for many a year, and came to speak about the committee suggesting to the city that the current location of the kayak dock be relocated for its permanent location. We've spent many a time going through the channel, which is there initially constructed as a water equalization channel, not for recreation. There are signs in the channel about no fishing. And certainly when we travel through there with 1 or 2 boats, it can be dicey. The lake, it's low, it's been low for 2 years. And the concern would be a handicapped kayaker being in the water at that location as well. So I provided some pictures of where it is currently and one of the locations that was suggested where it be moved to. And the concern with a kayaker ending up in the water is that we don't have any first responders there. They respond from the city, looking at 20 to 30 minutes response time. The police have just had a brand new dock installed on Lake One, so they can respond quicker once they arrive. And in fact, I spoke with our Ward 2 commissioner, and she suggested another location that could be considered would be where the police dock is located now on Lake One. So again, it would minimize response time if something were to occur. From a cost perspective, the pictures I provided are at Lake 2. The boat ramp and dock that are there are already paved. I think that the cost to make it ADA compliant would probably be minimal compared to the cost of where it is currently. Would put it in a safer location at the same time as well. And I should say that we have nothing against the kayakers. I'd love to see that the handicapped people have an opportunity to use the lake just as we do as well. In fact, when it first came up a few years ago, my wife and I donated about 20 life jackets just to keep them safe. So it's more from a concern perspective than saying it shouldn't be where it is, but I certainly think that it ought to be considered. And if anybody hasn't been to the lake and you'd like to visit the location and meet and just talk more, I'm happy to do that. I did sign in, my contact info's there, which certainly knows how to reach me as well.
Thank you very much, appreciate you bringing this.
Thank you.
Nothing else? No? Okay. Thank you all very much for your time and sharing with us. We appreciate that on there. comments from the committee? Anything as far as what we just heard or additional comments regarding our work or future work that we have?
Well, last time we talked about the Lions Club Park and
Yes.
trying to come up with an opportunity for citizens to engage on the design of that. I think that maybe we discussed that maybe I thought that after the fact, I don't remember, that it would be beneficial to have the city engineer or planning people come and actually give us some left-right limits of what we can do there, so that before we try and open it up to, or establish a date for public comment. So I just wanted to bring that up again, since I didn't request to have it put on the agenda or anything, but have we had any results from that as far as trying to get this? How do we get the city planner or engineer or whoever to come to this meeting? And
So actually, again, Ryan Hawken, as the community development person, would be a great place to start, just as a resource
Okay.
to find the answer to some of those questions.
Okay, great, thank you.
Are you asking for him to come to this meeting to explain that, or are you asking for more of just a conversation with him and then come back and report that?
Well, I guess I could have a conversation with him and come back and report to the committee, but I think we all need to be aware of those specifications before we decide on, and then also really, because we're only in an advisory capacity, so, I'm sure that city manager or somebody should probably be also included in this conversation. I don't know, but I'm assuming because it'll be the city that pays for it using like for like or whatever from insurance money, but also they obviously need to be engaged in what we are telling citizens, and they should be part of the conversation, obviously, and not just us in an advisory role. So, just my opinion.
And so maybe I misunderstood. I thought that part of what you were discussing was how to go about getting public opinion in terms of input. And yet before you open that up, you wanted some information in terms of guidelines. And so that's why I was saying that Ryan would be a good person to talk to first, just to find out a general scope of projects of this nature. Yeah. And
Okay.
in terms of, again, city funding, we don't have any funds that are earmarked for this. When the FEMA money comes in, that would be only the amount that.
Like for like,
was-
yeah.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up again. I think the thought process was, as an advisory committee, what could we do as far as fundraising? And we're talking long-term, right? 5, 10, 20 years down the road. Long-term, what could we do to help in fundraising above and beyond what the city has, to be able to put something back in that space? Thus maybe thinking outside the box of what the city has available. Right, would you agree with that's what we've, okay. Do you want to add something?
Sure.
Okay.
As the new kid on the block,
You are not the new kid.
I might be the oldest kid on the block. We should probably also have Seth, city engineer, there too, just to give dimension sizes, what we can do, what we can't do. Where the water lines are with Brad would probably be another person to get together with us, since he's over Public Works. Also, the city has a special account for donations. And if, just for grins, if, let's say, Play It Again Sports wants to donate $10 million, there is an account for donations, and it can be earmarked to special projects. So they're not supposed to rob Peter to pay Paul, be the best way to describe it. But we can use the possibility of grants that might be available, solicit funds from the major corporations. And it seems like if we don't get our bid in first, we might be hurting because of California. So we should still talk with the major corporations, the top 500, see if they would be willing to help with donations. I still have a dialogue with the Texas Rangers Foundation, the Texas Rangers, Major League Baseball, the Oklahoma City Comets, that they're all looking to help once they see the pictures of right after and what it is now. But we need to have a plan on how to bring the money in and then later disperse it. So,
Yes, I agree. I think, and I guess in my mind, we're at the part of just even dreaming what is even possible, right?
that's why we need to talk to Ryan and Seth and see what's what. I've talked to Lions Club International, and there's only a few things that we could get through Lions Club International. Some of the other grants would probably be the same thing. But once we start talking and establishing a pathway, then more or less like a playbook, then we can go right down that road. But when I was in the civic leadership training session, I made sure through the budgeting process that there is an account that's set up currently for donations. So if you just have that $10,000 laying around collecting dust, you could put it into the account and then earmark it. So,
But don't you have to have like on paper, this is our vision of what we want Lions Club Park to look like before you ask for donations and?
well, we've got to be able to start somewhere. And I'm gonna be nice and not say what the city manager told me for the last year, but it has something to do with $2 million project. And I think it can come in a lot less, but you need to establish private entities, whether it's Avitas or Major League Baseball or the Play It Again Sports or Dick's Sporting Goods. But somebody needs to try to gain that money and then have it there. Because there is a special account just for donations. So like if we were planning on putting flowers back in on Bell Street, if I wanted to donate $100 today, that can be earmarked for the flowers or shrubs to go on Bell Street. And it'll sit there until we're ready to use it.
That's good. I'll tell you what, I will, before the next meeting, I will reach out to these employees and set up a meeting to get more information. And then determine whether they need to come and we need to schedule them on the agenda for future meetings, or that's something that I can just give an update on. How about that? Is that okay? Are y'all-
And what employees are you speaking of in particular? I mean,
So I have Ryan, Seth, and then Brad for Public Works as well, just to get information of, share the dream of what we're talking about and just see where we are. And then we have more information for moving forward with public input on what that looks like. So I do agree we need parameters before we just open this
And I
up.
think at this early time, it would be a better use of the city employees' time for an initial meeting, rather than to try to get all of them to a meeting here at the
Right.
same time.
Yeah, so I'll personally reach out to them and have a meeting with them and just get the ball rolling to see what happens. I'll report back if, what our next steps as an advisory committee would be, and then, we can make action items from there. Is everybody okay with that? Good. All right.
Sounds good.
What other committee comments? Anything else from, we need to discuss?
Were we going to do something with the vegetation on Bell Street? Whether it's right by the Aldridge and the post office, or over at the Park and Recreation area, the old municipal auditorium? Do we need to start thinking about spring vegetation?
We're not, that was where the artwork was gonna go. The pots were gonna be painted, artwork, standing artwork in the other bed where the other plants are. There's no watering system for that whole section right there. And without any help with water, then it's not conducive to planting. And so
Okay.
there will not be any vegetation planted for the spring.
And you know my watering can,
Are you gonna come every week?
if need be. Yeah, I have 100-foot hose.
Well, I think, as Sherry mentioned, and we kind of discussed last time, it's probably a better use of their time. It's probably a better use of their time if we try and do something that doesn't require watering, because there's just not, the water and everything is just not there. So instead of continuing to use funds that are very limited to begin with, I think it'd be better served to ask a tribal entity or somebody to come up with something to decorate it and still be pretty, just not, no vegetation. So, I think that's what we discussed
Yes,
last.
it is.
time.
That's great. Very good. Okay. If there are no more comments, and I will have to motion to adjourn. I always forget that. Do we need to motion to adjourn?
yeah.
Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn then?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Okay. Is there a
I
second?
second.
Very good.
Chad Payne,
Yes.
Sherry Langford,
Yes.
Carrie Keck,
Yes.
Vicki Winters.
Yes.
Sue Nelson.
Yes.
Raymond Lutomsky.
Yes.
Thank you all for your time. Have a
Thank
wonderful
you.
day.
So,